How's it going? Now, he's got hard skin.
Uh-oh.
Right there. Come back up if you will, Debbie. You shake hands with him, then shake hands with me. Only do it in slow motion. Feel his skin.
Okay.
Feel my skin. Feel the difference?
Yeah,
Harder skin, isn't it?
Not that it's a bad thing, but...
Now see, now we're worried about being polite. You're going to rebut me. Not that it's a bad thing.
Let me feel yours. Okay, well, I work with my hands.
You know what? I work with my hands too, but you don't work with the backs of them, and you don't work with your wrist. This has to do with texture. That's why I said we move it from here.
Okay.
So you told me you were from Prescott before.
Right.
How long has it been since you've been there? Other than you still live there, or did you move
I
away
still
for a
live-
while?
Yeah, I live there.
When was the last time you in Vegas?
December.
Okay. Did we notice that his eyes, the human brain can only process about 5 to 7 bits of information. Then you have to move your eyes. So if I ask him to step around a little bit so you can see his eyes and answer my question. Do you have brothers and sisters?
Yes.
How many?
3 brothers and a sister.
See his eyes moving? Try not to move your eyes and answer
I'm
these.
not lying.
It's not about. This is not about lying. This is about how you process energy, visually, auditory, or kinesthetic, which is feeling. But let me ask you a couple questions you would think you would know without moving your eyes. What's your mother's name?
Evelyn.
How old is she?
She's gone.
What was her birth date?
January 15, 1925.
How about your brothers? What's their birth dates? See, he had to move his eyes. You reach a point. It's just like when I was teaching people. When you're gathering information and somebody's looking at you and then they look away, they got to go take that information and put it away. It's like getting your hands full. You can't hold no more. So the same with him. He can hold so much in the conscious memory. However, when I ask him some simple questions like who knows, what's your address?
Living or mailing?
Either.
Living address is 1211 Country Club Drive.
See how he had to think about it, still holding his eyes. What was the address you had before this one? See that? Holy moly. So this is how important it is. If I'm going to talk to him, I got to use visual words. How does that look to you? In other words, if I had, say, a piece of paper and somebody that was visual, auditory, and kinesthetic, which is feeling, then that means I might go, Milton, would you look this over and tell me how it looks to you? See if I've made myself clear. See, those are all visual sounds. If he were auditory, I'd go, Milton, would you read this over? See if you understand it. Does it have a nice ring to it? Same piece of paper. If he's feeling or kinesthetic, then what I would do is have him read the piece of paper and I'd go, so how does that feel to you? Can you get a handle on it? Can you grasp the idea of what I'm talking about? See how important it is when you're communicating with people. Otherwise, if I'm talking to him, how does this sound to you? He has to take that in his head and translate it into sounds. If he's auditory and I say something to him, and I'm using visual terms, he has to take it in and create a picture some way in his head. It's how our brains process. This is how hypnosis works. A lot of people think when you do hypnosis, you do one of these things. It really isn't. I use a series of symbols. I use a series of words that the subconscious does not hear. An example would be if I said to everyone in here, don't think of a green dog chasing a yellow cat through a purple sky. The key word there was don't. You had to think of it, not to think of it. So if I know several words that the subconscious doesn't hear, consciously I'm giving you a command. Subconsciously I'm giving you a totally opposite command. And that's how you kind of trick the brain, if you will, going into a different level of thinking. And it's the same thing when we're talking. So when I shake hands with him, I notice that his skin is more hard. He's more driven. He's a matter-of-fact, get-down-to-it kind of person. Now, if we look at the shape of his face, which was like Rob's face and my face, he has a, boy, I hate saying this, because this always goes to these guys' head. He has natural leadership ability, and that is the forehead tapers back. Could you raise your hair up a little bit, Milton, so that they can see? And then look at me. Yeah. See how his forehead tapers back? Quick in thought, mouth sets in, more reserved in speech. The advantage he has over me is that he will think of the answer very quickly, but he'll wait a little bit and gather more information automatically. And then he'll straighten everything out. You see what I mean? Uh-huh. Now, if we look at the way he stands, he put his hands in his pockets. He's starting to like close down there a little bit, but still maintaining being open. It's pretty hard, isn't it?
Oh,
Stand
man.
there.